Hello QEP instructors. The last video we did walked you through the process of making your syllabus for the QEP course. This video will walk you through the process of fixing your first assignment that your students do at the very beginning of the semester. Now, why do we have to have this assignment? It's because the QEP asks us to measure students' improvement in writing, and this first essay gives us a baseline. They write a similar, although we're changing it, but they write a similar type essay at the end of the semester. We assess the first essay, we assess the second essay, and we compare the difference. So this first essay gets them started and sets the baseline for our ability to assess our QEP student outcomes. And the outcomes that we assess on using these essays are this one about organization, that the written text are logically and coherently structured. This one about using arguments that are warranted and persuasive. This one about supporting their arguments with evidence. This one about showing awareness of the genre, audience, and discipline. And this one using good syntax, grammar, and conventions. Now, just to show you where it says how are student outcomes assessed, by the beginning and ending of semester letters written in writing enhanced classes. Essays are uploaded to the QEP site and assessed each summer by the assessment team. So I got this part from your syllabus that we talked about on the last video that says here's the beginning and ending course objective memos that you're going to have to write in this class, and then you say how much it counts in the grade, and then you have this on your syllabus too, telling them how to upload it on the website. Okay, so now let's go to the assignment itself. This comes from your, this comes from your packet, pages 9 and 10. And once again, just as I did with the syllabus in the last video, I've highlighted the parts that you're going to have to change. Of course, you're going to get rid of this altogether, this pages 9 and 10 of your packet. That's just for your information. But you're going to put your course right here, and then you're going to talk about your objectives right here. So we have 4 objectives in EN 213. You're going to put however many objectives you put on your syllabus. So if you had 10, you're going to say we have 10 objectives in your class. If you have 3, you're going to say we have 3 objectives. But for EN 213, we have 4. Now, I will say this. If you have 10, if you have more than 4, I would say this. We have 10 objectives in this class. However, for the purposes of this letter, we'll concentrate on these 4. That way you can pick the ones that will best serve this assignment, and the students can not have too much to talk about in 500 words. So these will be your assignments, course objectives. And then, of course, this one's going to be the same for everybody in a writing enhanced class. That's the last objective on the syllabus, about writing 2,500 words. So then we tell the students, we have gone over these objectives in class, and they're described in more detail in your course syllabus. Then we start telling them about the assignment itself. It says you will write a letter to one of your high school English teachers to explain these 4 objectives and let him or her know how well your high school education has prepared you to meet them. Now, this assignment works very well for sophomore literature, EN 213, because they should have learned some of this in high school English. I have a feeling it might work pretty well for the math courses. Maybe not, though. I don't see how it would work for agriculture and fine arts and human sciences. So what you may have to do is tell your students you will write a letter to the teacher who taught you, and then you would name a prerequisite course that they needed to have taken to take your course. to explain these, whatever number of objectives, and let him or her know how well the prerequisite prepared you to meet these objectives. So it needs to make sense in your context. Then we tell the students, here's how you go about it. Why don't you free write? And again, whatever you decide to do with the assignment, you're going to change those where it says high school. We tell them why we're asking them to free write. It'll give you the material you need to write your letter. All of it comes straight from you. There's no need to look anything up on the internet. Although you are writing about your feelings and experiences, you are still making claims about how well your high school English class or high school math class or the prerequisite to this course has prepared you to meet these objectives. As you write your former teacher, support your assertions with specific evidence from your educational experiences. So if you want to give your students, as you're talking through this assignment with them, if you want to tell them, for example, for an English class, I could say one of our objectives is to appreciate literature. You might say, in your class, we read Moby Dick and The Scarlet Letter and list, like you want to be very specific here when you give evidence. And that's one of the problems students have. So you might want to tell them that. For the due date, we say there's a paper copy due in class on the date that you set. Now what's going to happen is we're going to tell you a date that you have to do it by. That's usually towards the end of September. That seems like a long time from the beginning of the semester, but you know how it is. It takes a couple of weeks for the roles to firm up. But you can make your due date earlier. It doesn't have to be the date we say. It just has to be that date or earlier. And we want them to turn in a paper copy because in the past, students were just uploading it and they thought the teachers weren't looking at them, and in some cases they were right. And so they were just, some students were copying junk off the internet, just pasting it in a file and uploading it. So we tell them we want both. We want the paper copy in class and a copy uploaded to the storage space. Now remember, we tell them this down here, they can't pass the class unless they upload this to the storage space. Here's where we tell them how to save the file. Here's where we tell them how to upload it. Here we tell them how this essay counts. It counts in your final grade in 3 ways. For one thing, you must complete it to pass this class. Once it is completed, it will comprise whatever % you pick of your final grade. And finally, you will reflect back upon this essay at the end of the semester when you evaluate how these course objectives turned out. Here's the format that we ask them to use. It's pretty straightforward. We tell them about the audience, purpose, tone, and point of view, and we ask them to proofread their paper. So, just to recap, soon after the first of the semester, you'll pass out this assignment revised to fit your class to your students in your Writing Enhanced class. You'll set a date on or before the date that Dr. Dupree gives you that's due for the class. You'll ask them to do this writing, turn in a copy to you, and upload one copy to the QEP website.